Hello, and welcome back to In the Nick of Time. I'm Nick Maxwell. Today, with me, I have Jack, Alex, and Aiden, and we're going to be discussing North Korea. Recently, North Korea has amped up its threats against the United States and its subsidiaries. Today, we're going to have a discussion about that.
So with the threats that North Korea has been making, it seems like they're trying to make a statement that they don't really want to be messed with anymore, and they're tired of just being seen as a third world country compared to everyone else.
I mean, if they wanted to be more than a third world country, maybe they would feed their people, make it so that their people aren't like slaves in the system.
Maybe they should
be an actual country that follows country rules.
Maybe they should, be part of the international community so they can get trade and not just rely on China giving them free stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily free.
And maybe Kim Jong-un should get a better haircut.
Oh.
He's not rocking it.
And as we've seen recently, China's kind of getting fed up with North Korea because ever since the situation ended with the Korean War, way back when, China's more or less been on North Korea's side, but now it's kind of been more on board with the sanctions and it's spoken out more against North Korea. So
the main problem with China being an ally to North Korea is that China's biggest trade partner is America. Maybe, I don't know, fact check that. And America and North Korea no son buenos, so that means, oh no, China, oopsie doopsie, you got a poopsie.
So also, I think that one of the bigger problems with North Korea is that they try to get their citizens to believe what their government isn't. They tell their government, oh yeah, we just went out and won all this stuff in
It's called propaganda.
Propaganda. The thing is, North Korea, they think it's working, and on a decent amount of their citizens, it is. But there is a very large majority that is just like, this is all just stupid. Why are you telling this? This is all lies.
I don't know. I wouldn't know if I agree if it's the majority because
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the majority.
yeah, because the majority there'd be more like uprisings and defectors and
They're scared to make an uprising because anyone who questions the government publicly, they just get thrown into a concentration camp.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the majority because when we see that it's been like generations now that have grown up in this environment, so they're
true.
groomed to it. So I do not think that it's a majority. I think it's definitely a minority.
I think that also we deal with the issue that if we get into a scenario where the Kim dynasty, I guess, is taking out power, we also now have to deal with the population of North Korea, which has been brainwashed to believe that the Kim dynasty are the greatest leaders of all time, and that everyone else are just a bunch of evil imperialists. So, trying to kind of deal with them in the event of Kim being removed from power is another thing down the road, which the international community have to deal with.
Yeah, it's not just remove the leader and replace them. It's just the whole country, the whole community is ingrained with this, like, America is bad and like the West is bad. So it's gonna be a huge thing. It's not just like I wouldn't, even though it's not like just replace the leader and then the country will be stable again and then they'll be joining the international community again. It's gonna take a long time to get them to at least not be like everyone in the West needs to die.
Kind of be a functioning society within the international community.
The problem with the current North Korean society is that unless there are some huge radical changes, nothing's going to happen. Kim Jong-un will have all of his ancestors, or descendants rather, they'll take over, they'll be the next holy prophet of North Korea, and the people will keep being brainwashed, and anybody who's like, wait a minute, this is a little fishy, won't be able to speak out because of how strict the regime is.
Oh, yeah, it only gets more strict with time. The more people that go against the government, the more tyrannical they get, the more power hungry they get, the more restrictions they have. So the longer this keeps going, the more bad it's going to get for people in North Korea that don't want to be there, that want to speak out. It's going to get worse and worse for them.
Like, I saw this article about how there used to be a ton of just electronics and stuff flowing from China into North Korea from obviously the Chinese border, and it happened like all the media that was given to them showed them the like what the rest of the world was, what the Western world was, and how the government really was just telling them complete lies. And it started off with like the government having to consistently go into households in order to just like send the entire family into jail and just like their kids into jail and all their kids' kids, because they have a two-generation policy for detainment.
And and also their whole thing with visitors to their country and how a lot of them get arrested or just like threatened. It's really not setting a good like image of them to the public. Like they try, whenever someone goes to North Korea on like a vacation type thing, they always try and make like this manufactured experience. But whenever a lot of the times that experience gets like broken up by either like the person not believing that this is like truly the experience or them actually doing something wrong while there, and all these examples of people being jailed or attacked or removed from the country for their actions there is not really helping their image in the community and just makes everyone hate them more.
Well, I think we can all agree that North Korea is run by tyrants and that there needs to be a lot of radical changes. I think we should kind of focus on how the international community should deal with it, because I know there has been some back and forth on that, whether or not that we should rely on diplomacy or if we should keep, some kind of militaristic option on the table. And I think that is an important decision that the world is kind of facing at the moment.
Yeah,
So the question is, should other countries interfere? If so, which ones and how?
I believe that the only real solution that could be to the North Korean option would, in fact, have to be militaristic, as there's a very large portion of the citizens that do believe all of the propaganda that is told to them, and that they believe that if they don't defend their country, then their quality of life will just go down the drain. So I believe that's why militaristic options.
Obviously, the biggest point against the military option is the imminent threat to South Korea.
Yes.
So any action by any foreign power would immediately have consequences on North Korea doing something, and it would most likely be to South Korea, which is a huge economy in the international scale, an American ally, and it would just be. It could get disastrous, so it would have to be handled really, really carefully to make sure that if we do a militaristic option against North Korea, that we keep South Korea as safe as we can possibly keep them.
And another thing is, if we do anything militaristic, there's the imminent threat of nuclear warfare.
Well, yeah, and I think that.
How many nukes does North Korea have now?
I think it's made like 7 or 8.
7 or 8?
I heard
And
3.
3.
3?
I think they have like